What's up, my geeks? Jeffrey Powers here from Geekazine Thing Magazine. Put in a geek and you got me. You got me. You got me. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the first time you've come to the show. Thank you very much for showing up here. Socials are right there. You can definitely check everything out as we go. Just making sure everything's working. Awesome. And making sure that I'm on all the channels. We are on live. It is Saturday afternoon, so I hope you guys are having a great day. And of course, hey, if you want to check out my shop, that's over at amazon.com/shop/Geekazine. If you're over on the Amazon page, there's the follow button down there. Follow, smash, Hulk smash, and go from there. So it looks like everything's up, everything's running. We have the William Shatner over here. Go ahead and say hi. Go ahead and say what webcam you use. And go ahead and talk, be a part of the conversation. Today, we're going to be showing you several different webcams, and then we're going to unbox this right here. This is the Logitech Brio webcam. It's one of the main, all the webcams that we've got here that I'm going to show you how that all works, how that all goes from there. So, first of all, thanks a lot for coming to the show. I appreciate that very much. Tell your friends, tell your friends' friends, tell your friends' dog, and everybody will be in the know. And of course, once again, smash that follow button. I appreciate that. Like, subscribe, all that other good stuff, and you're good to go. Those little stars, I love them. Sometimes I love watching them pass by and clicking up and everything like that. So, once again, we're going to talk about the Logitech Brio. We're going to do that. We're going to unbox that in a little bit here. That's this thing right here. So stick around and I'll show you all the features of that. But I have a good array of web cameras that you might use, you might not use, you're going to learn about, so you could possibly use, and we'll go from there. But first of all, got to do this quick segment is what's on the 3D printer today? And you're going to see that in a second here. There it is right there. Oops, wrong button. There it is right there. And you're wondering, what the heck is that? Well, you kind of saw what it is. It's right here. We did some 3D prints, and now it's time to do some Halloween costumes. And so for Jennifer, we got her the Sylvie mask, which is pretty cool. These things, the horns actually detach. So I can actually put on a full-size horn or larger horn for her, and or the shorter horns. It came out really well. We had a little bit of, I just got the gold filament, and I talked about that the other day on the show. Just got it, and I'm really impressed of how it looks. There's a little bit of you know, fraying and what's called cobwebbing, where it's like it's not, the filament's not going up when enough to when this moves over. So I'll have to deal with that later. It really depends on what type of filament you put in there, and that can change things. But the horns are looking really nice. What do you think? What do you think? I'm gonna put these on, and of course my glasses are in the way right now, but it's kind of like this. So tell me, whoops, tell me, what do you think? Do I look like a Sylvie? I don't know. So right now I'm actually printing the horns, my 3D printed horns. I did find, because they were super hard to find on, you know, for the last couple weeks, but I did find a pair of Loki horns. The only problem is they kind of really fit really odd on my head, and they kind of dig into the middle. So, and that was, the plan was to get these horns, still 3D print the horns that I was planning to print, and then go from there. So I got that going, and yeah, so now they're on the printer. They're in hour number 3 of 22 to print them, and this is just the headset that's printing right now. And just like with the Sylvie horns, it's actually made by the same creator. So the Loki horns, it'll be about 22 hours for those horns, and then an additional couple hours for the horns themselves, the face part that holds the horns. That's 22 hours, excuse me. And we'll go from there. So basically, that's what's printing on the printer today. So, all right, now that you know that, I think I heard something from my alley. Hold on a second. Just want to mute that so it doesn't active. Let's talk about webcams, baby. Let's talk about webcams, you and me. And I've had webcams for a very long time to do my streaming. I've done a lot of streamings. Thank you, M. Allen, for following. I appreciate that. I've done a lot of live streaming in my day. Technically, I started in the 2000 somethings, but in all reality, I didn't start doing live streaming as my regular job until 2007. When I started Geekazine, actually, in a couple of weeks, Geekazine will be 14 years old. So that's pretty awesome. Technically, the podcast started in October, but the website didn't start until November 7th. So in a couple of weeks, the website will be 14 years old. The podcast is actually 14 years old already. So, and of course, all the live streams and everything like that I got on early. I basically used an old, and I think this was also a Logitech, the circular cams you put on top of the CRT monitors, with a little wedge on there that you put on. You could either fasten it with two-sided tape or whatnot, or it just came with a little ledge hook that you put on there, and then I used that for my main camera. I started on, I think it was something like a Pentium 4 or something like that. I'm not exactly sure of the computer, but then I moved over to a Mac G4, and I was doing live streams since then from a webcam. Now, my webcams have evolved, and I've actually kind of gotten away from webcams. In fact, the camera that you're seeing me on right now, the two cameras, main cameras I use, the camera that you're seeing on me now, and then of course this Ptz camera that you're seeing on the big screen right there, those are technically not webcams. This camera I bought for going out to events and doing one-on-one interviews, like I'm going to be doing at Infocom in the next week. So I'm really excited about that. And then back here, the Ptz camera for interviews, being able to move around the camera when need be. And it's been a great addition to my arsenal. Many years. Plus, I have a whole host of other cameras from the GoPros and everything like that. Like, for instance, the 3D printer. Right now, the overhead camera that you're seeing, the main cam that you're seeing, is a Hero 4. And then the secondary camera, that picture-in-picture, is one of my older Sonys that I used to use as a primary camera, now as a 3D printer camera. I also have, let's get to there. We also have this camera. This is poorly placed, but it is another Sony camera that I used to shuttle around with me. And then of course we got another Hero 4 right here. These things, they're just powerhouses, those Hero 4s, so I was really excited about that. But those aren't webcams, those are cameras or action cameras. So web cameras, you know, usually are USB. They have they're something that you put on top of your monitor, and then you shoot them out from there. Now, they've evolved. Webcams have completely evolved into many different ways and many different things. That's what we're going to show you today. We've got 5 different webcams here. Couple old, couple new, couple borrowed, couple blue, and I'm just going to show you what we've got here. And we're going to start with this one right here. And of course, there's no link to this one because this is probably my oldest webcam that I've found so far. And I bet you I have that webcam back from 2007 sitting in a tote somewhere down in the basement. But this is the oldest camera that I've got that I can show you. This is the first real live streaming webcam that I use. This is the Logitech. This was the 900, I believe, if I remember the number correctly. And as you can see, it had a very interesting look to it. I use this for many different things. We have a little button on the side to activate. We got a single microphone right there. It could run on a USB 1.2 or 2.0 because back then that's what we had, is USB 1.0 or 1.2 or 2.0. And if I plug this in, this will still give you a good, I think this was 720p. So it can still give you a 720p output. It is a great camera. It's and it works on PC. It didn't work too well on Mac. When you plugged it into a Mac, it would actually give you a 720 video. So, I'm sorry, a 4:3 video, excuse me. But I haven't tried it on newer Macs. It might actually just do 720p. It's native 720p. It's a really great camera. And it was one of the first I remember buying this thing and putting this onto my system, and I was just so impressed with how it did things. I went down and I went to another a group that was doing improv comedy, and they had like 3 of these cameras. And this was the first time I saw USB cameras being multi switched, and it was just pretty amazing to see that happen. And they used these little guys, and it was a great show. Of course, so at that time we were streaming out at probably 480p at the best. So now we're doing 1080p and 4K. Right now, this is a 720p video, but up to 4K video streaming wise, it's just amazing what we can do now. But back in 2007, this was the bomb. I recorded my bands on this. I recorded my shows on this. Everything came from this little camera. But then I upgraded, and I upgraded to this one right here. And this is the first one we're going to talk about. And I do have to admit, I really had to search for this one. I knew I had it, but it was tough to find. This is the C920 camera. Now it's the C920X, but it's the exact same camera here. And let's take a look at some of the features of that C920. It is 1080p, 30 frames a second. You could go 720 if you wanted to. If you zoomed in on anything, you actually would go to 720p. Stereo mics, it's got autofocus. It's got a light adjustment, so through the settings, it'll adjust for lighting if it gets brighter or darker. And it runs on USB 2.0, which is great because if you don't have a state-of-the-art computer, you could always plug this webcam in and get a better video than some of these laptops. Like for instance, over here, you can't see it, but out of shot, I have it's actually a Gateway computer. Yeah, they do still make Gateway computers. This is a Gateway gaming computer, so I can actually run my my Oculus through this thing. But the whole point about this is the camera is actually below the screen. And if you ever do any type of calls where they're recording you to do like one-on-one interviews, cameras on the bottom end of the screen are really tough to set up, because if you try to raise that laptop so you get a nice eye level view like we're doing right now, the keyboard's usually in the way, unless they have a special stand that can angle the keyboard out so the camera can come through. But then they're always looking up because the screen is right technically above them, and then you see them do this all the time. And it's just kind of fun to watch. But the whole point is that I would not use that camera if somebody said, hey, I want to do a one-on-one interview with you. I would definitely use this camera right here. It's very inexpensive. When I bought this camera, it was a couple $100, but now the 920X, its predecessor, is relatively inexpensive. I think we were at $60 that I saw on the list over at Amazon. Just an amazing little camera, and it still works. In fact, here, let me show you how it works. I got it set up. It is turned on. It is plugged in. Let's do this right here. Here we are. So it's not going to be the best thing in the world, but it still does the job. And I'm looking here at the screen, sorry. It still does the job, and I would still use it in many different situations, including this one. And I have used it. Whenever I went to Korea, I always tried to find cameras that could really fit into a bag, and this camera went with me on many of those trips, and that was only a couple of years ago, before the pandemic. So I've also used this camera with a Raspberry Pi. Last year we did the Jetson, NVIDIA Jetson. These are small computer boards, PCBs, that, just like the Raspberry Pi, that allow you to do things like AI and stuff like that. We were using this camera to set up AI to do facial tracking through the open source programs that you can set up on there. So this is a great overall webcam for almost anything. And like I said, it's still tried and true. It's still in my bag, and it's an amazing camera right there. I can't talk to any more about it because it is a powerhouse. If anything, pick up a camera like this, because if all your other cameras fail, this one you'll be able to plug into a computer and get something. And there's been a couple times that I didn't bring this camera with me and things failed. And I thought to myself, if I would have only had this camera right here in my bag, it would have saved me on a lot. And it wouldn't have looked the best, but the cool thing is with the adjustments, you can make it look better. Like right now, we'll go back to this camera. Right now, I haven't done any adjustments to it, but I go into the settings. Let's just go into these are just basic color settings that you get into Windows, or if you're on Mac, you can download an app that allow you to change it. So let's just change the brightness a little bit. Hold on a second here. There we go. And contrast. And there's a lot of lights behind me, so it's going to be tougher to make any changes. But I'm just going to change a few things. You're not seeing it because I'm going behind. I'm using a third-party software to do this. So now we're going to switch that over. As you can see, it looks a little bit better, but I haven't really had time to pull up a color card or look at anything with this. But this is what it looks like in its basic form. A little bit of color shifting and a little bit of zoom ability. You can really make this work. We do a daily zoom. Everyday audio video professionals, and we talk about different cameras that people can use on Zoom calls, and people not only talk about the C920, but there are a couple people on the call that use the C920 because it's so small, so compact. Another thing they can do is they'll put, a lot of people, if they have like a 2-monitor system like I have, then they'll put the camera right in the middle of those 2 monitors. So they'll get as close together as possible, and they'll put that camera right in the middle. That way they don't have a big gap between their monitors, and they have cameras the camera comes out and shoots them. So the only other thing that this camera doesn't have, this older version doesn't have from the newer version, is a screw mount. So this one I cannot screw onto a tripod, but like a year later they came out with the C920 with a screw mount. So you could put it on a tripod. And the newest one, the C922 920X, you definitely can do that. And so that's a great little feature right there. So that is the C920 from Logitech. It's a great webcam. We've got some other webcams, and one that's actually in my system. You see it a lot, and that's this one right here. It's the OBS Bot Tiny, and it's my overhead cam. I set it up. In fact, I have this. Let me just do this really quick, and I'll hit this button. This is normally how you see that camera. This does the overhead shot. So I'll put the 900 here so you can see something. So when I'm talking about a camera or another product, I can point at it and you get a good view out of it. I actually have three overhead or over the shoulder shots. The OBS Tiny being one.
Sorry,
Yeah, okay. My watch went off. Sorry. Let's just turn that off for a little bit. Anyway, the OBS Bot over here, my Ptz Optics, which of course is pointing to that camera right there, and then my overhead shot, which we will talk about in a second because it's another webcam that we can talk about. So let's get this one over here. There we go. So this is the camera I'm talking about, the OBS Bot, and it's the Tiny. And OBS Bot has come up with some really innovative cameras in the last couple of years. I first saw them at CES 2019 when I was reporting on a bigger version of the OBS Bot that was basically wireless. You could put anywhere, and it was gesture controlled. Speaking of which, let's take a look at the features of the OBS Tiny. 1080p, 30 frames a second, in a 2x zoom. Dual omni, and it stays at 1080p for 2x zoom, by the way. Dual omnidirectional microphones, 90-degree wide lens, AI tracking, and a 270-degree rotatable head. So I can turn this thing around and show you what's going on behind. It is technically plugged into USB 3, or has a USB-C plug on one end, but it does go through USB-A, and you can work on a USB 2.0 system. They have the software right there that you can make all the adjustments. In fact, I've got, as you can see, I can do the movement of the gimbal right here through the joystick. I have the zoom close to 2x, and then I have some preset positions. So let me show you this really quick. So there's the camera right there, and I'm going to go from the desk to me. I'm just going to hit that button. As you can see, it'll just move from there. I can activate the gesture control and the gestures control zoom. So if I hold up my hand, you see that turn blue. Now when I start moving around, it'll start moving with me. Let me just do that again. I think I have that locked. One more time. There we go. There it is. It's starting to move now with me. So when I go back to the OBS Bot and I start talking and I move over here, it'll move with me, and I'll move over here and I'll move with me. If I hold up my hand again, it will now lock it in place. So if I move this way, yep, I did that wrong. Let's do that again. There we go. Now it should, yeah, now it's going to hold. So I can also zoom in by using a gesture. And I think is it still locked? Let's try that again. Oh, because it's zoomed in all the way. So let's do this. Let's zoom it out. There we go. Let's do that again. There we go. Now I'm zoomed in all the way. So you can use gesture controls. I turn those off because I like to set them up this way and go from there. But anyway, this little guy right here can sit on top of your monitor. It can be put onto a tripod. It comes with this cool mount, and I think I have another one over here. Let's grab it really quick. This mount allows me, I guess I don't have it there. I have 3 of these, so I have a mount sitting somewhere. Oh, there it is, right there. These mounts are really cool. So what happens with these mounts is they set on top of the monitor, and they've got 3. They fold up like so, and then you can unfold them from there. Let me show you on this the PTZ here. So, and we'll zoom in. There we go. So it's got, you basically put the monitor right there, and then you can fold this in and lay this flat. So the monitor will sit like that, and then it'll hold onto the monitor. And then, of course, this is magnetic, so you take the OBS bot, and you can set it right on top of there. Clicks right in. Easy peasy, no problem whatsoever. It's a great little mount. But once again, if you decide I want to put it up on a tripod, you could definitely do that. It allows for the tripod use as well. So, but anyway, that's the OBS Bot Mini. It's a great little camera. You can definitely change a lot of things. I also adjust the video settings on there so it looks closer to what this camera does. But of course, any type of webcam gets approximate. You can't do a lot of color changes. You can't do a lot of too much on it, but you can make some adjustments to make it look better, and that's the important thing. And all these webcams will be able to do that. So, Willie goes, can you use an OBS Bot tail as a webcam? Now you're talking about this is the Tiny. You're talking about the tail. The tail is a different product from OBS, and what that is a device that you can put your phone onto, and then it has a little camera underneath that can be used for the gesture control. And I have one. Do I have it close by? No, I do not. Sorry. But it's a device that, like I said, you put your smartphone on top of it, and then you can use that to move the camera. It can't zoom in, it can't zoom out. It doesn't have any control other than you put up your hand to get it to activate, and well, just the hand activate to turn back and forth. It doesn't have the zoom in ability from there. So. Duncan goes, hey, Jeffrey, greetings from Melbourne. How you doing, Duncan? He goes, I've used old Logitech cams for years, been solid as all heck. I just swapped out over to the Brio. The robotic stuff you mentioned is interesting. Is the tracking any good with focus? So far, I have not had any problems with the OBS Bot with focus. I don't think it doesn't do any type of blurring that I know of. I have never seen it blur. And like I said, if I switch from there to here and then back to the desktop, notice that it doesn't lose its focus at all. So and don't expect to see depth perception on this thing, a blurred background or anything like that. It is just set up for getting the shot, and sometimes that's what you need is one to get the shot. So and Duncan goes, yeah, looks cool, good, awesome. So thanks a lot, Duncan, for coming on and being a part of the live stream here, and greetings from Australia. Can't wait to get back someday. Someday I'll be able to. Willie, let me know where you're from as well. And definitely come and say hi. And don't forget to follow that button over at Amazon.com/shop/Geekazine. That's where you can go to find me and find out all these cool things. Because on the page, you'll be able to see the videos that I create, the shoppable photos that I've got, and then of course all the links, all the things that I recommend on the live streams, and of course on my other channels as well. So, all right, that was the OBS Bot Tiny. Let's get to the next camera. This is one of the newer cameras. It just came out it's like 2-3 months ago, and I've had it for 2-3 months. It's an interesting camera. There are things that you can do with it, and there are things you cannot do with it. Like for instance, Yeah, all my cameras are hooked up through a program called Wirecast. You can also use OBS, you can also use vMix, but I use Wirecast. For some reason, this camera does not go through Wirecast, and I'm not exactly sure why. If there needs to be a software or firmware update, and I haven't checked it as of late. But I do have it set up on a system right here, and that's this right here. So this is the software, the camera through the software right now, and a whole bunch of changes. And I'm going to show you everything here. So let's get into the features of the Elgato face cam here. This is a 1080p 60 frame a second sensor. This says it's the Sony Starvis sensor. It's a fixed focus. It's glass lens, anti-reflective coating, 82-degree view, USB 3.0, and uncompressed video. And this is great for when you're doing any type of videos, especially showing off a product. Because with the fixed focus, just like with the OBS bot or Obs Bot, OBS bot, the best part about this, if you're showing off a product, like let's show you my Logitech 920. If I do this, well, there's going to be a point where it's going to get out of focus. But if I do this, notice that it's going to stay in focus. And now come back here. It's not going to go like that. It's just going to instantly be in focus. Now, you're seeing the page here, and I can do a little bit of work here. There's the zoom. So this is the camera in its entirety. There's that product, and it's back to me. So this is a great camera for anybody that's doing product stuff, maybe an Amazon Live or gaming or anything like that. You want to show off a product and then come back. You're not going to get that blurred background, but you will get a good setup with your camera. This also has memory inside the camera, which I didn't talk about in the features. And the cool thing about that is if I unplug this camera and move it to another computer or put it into another plug outlet on my computer, because you unplug a USB camera out of one USB, plug it in the next USB, it will not recognize it as the same camera. Doesn't matter. So it will still not recognize this as the same camera, but it'll take the settings inside the camera and it'll utilize them. So if I let's set up the zoom again. Let's bring the zoom back to here. If I unplug this camera now and plug it into another machine, it will remember exactly these settings. And that's pretty sweet. So we have many different picture fixes. So we can fix the contrast. We can fix the saturation. I'm running from the side of my side peripheral, so it's a little bit tougher. We can sharpen the video if we wanted to. We can definitely do some automatic exposure, shutter speed, and ISO. We got the white balance temperature. I like to have 4500 for my temperature. So let's just make this. There we go. A little bit too dark, right about there. I kind of like that. It works fairly well. And then of course we can do a noise reduction if we wanted to really make it thin up. And then if we've got products to show off, we can definitely show it off through a webcam. Easy peasy. It also is part of the Elgato system, which means that with the Stream Decks and all the other stuff, they like to, I don't want to call it a walled garden, but it definitely has an infrastructure to it. So you'll be able to use a Stream Deck. There's native options to turn on and off this camera. Let me show you this camera over here on this. Is it this button there? There we go. Gotta remember where all the buttons are. So here we go, and we'll zoom in there. There we go. So it does come with a privacy cap, which is detachable. I have it somewhere around here. It doesn't have like a little lanyard, so it's basically loose. So, and I'm not too worried about that because this isn't normally plugged in. It does have a status light, which I have turned off, and you can definitely do that. And it works on a tripod. It also has a similar mount to the OBS bot that has that can be put onto a monitor and adjusted for the monitor. And I forgot about that. I guess I have it somewhere around here. probably in this mess over here. But anyway, so this is the face cam. Like I said, it's got the glass inside there and anti-reflective. So, and you saw that. You didn't really see a reflection because I had, especially, whoops, wrong one. I had a lot of lights around here. You don't see reflective images on here. Here, we'll take this light right here because I can move it around. I'm going to shine you in your face. Notice how it's not, it is affecting, you are seeing some reflection right here, but that's because the light's right here. But if you're in daylight, it's the farther away you get, the less you'll see of that. I got to get really close to get these reflective looks to it. So, but as you can see, it works really well. And of course, if you're doing a one-on-one conference call, if you're doing an Amazon Live, if you're doing anything like that, this camera works really well. It is 1080p, and Facecam also has a Starvis 2 sensor, which could go up to 4K. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Elgato Facecam will get an upgrade within the next year to go to 4K, because I would have bought the 4K over the 1080p camera. Nothing wrong with the 1080p camera. A lot of us are still working in a 1080p world. And then, of course, if you're doing something like a green screen behind you and you're doing like a gaming channel or something like this, this camera will work really well. If you're showing off product, this camera will work really well for what you're doing. But if you want to do something a little bit more, it's not going to do 4K. And that's, some people find that as a problem. So just keep that in mind when you're purchasing this camera. It's around $200 for the Facecam. And once again, it's part of the Elgato infrastructure, which is really awesome because then you can get the Stream Deck and you can just set up lighting from Elgato, put everything on one desk, and then do stuff like this. And then I encourage you, come on down, do it, be a part of this whole thing of live streaming. I'll help you with that. Just have to ask me questions. You can always do that by going over to amazon.com/shop/Geekazine and come say hi over on the William Chatinator. Just like Chelsea, is it? Yeah, Chelsea does. And she's going, hi, Jeffrey. Hi, Chelsea. Chelsea is a creator on Amazon Live. I can tell that by the little blue check mark. So I hope you're streaming today. Let us know where you're streaming, and when we're done here, I'll shuttle people that way. How's that? So, all right, let's move on from there. Next up, we have the Mevo Start. Oh, Chelsea goes, I need to upgrade my webcam, so here for all your recos. Okay, yeah, I can definitely help you with that. Definitely. So, let's get to this one. This is a great. It's not technically a webcam, but it is a webcam. And what I really like about this one, I missed I missed one. Did I miss one? Whoops. Hold on. There's one that's not on my list. That's supposed to be in my list. Hold on one second. That's the beauty of this. It is right there. We'll add that to the list. Apologies. Let's get back here. We're going to skip this one because I want to go to this one was supposed to be next. So we're going to do that. And I don't know, I didn't point to it. But that's the beauty of a PTZ camera. Let's go ahead and point to it. And we're going up, we're going up, we're going up, because that's where this camera is. I think that's it right there. There it is right there. Oops. What is going on? Come back. Come back. Come back. Come back. There we go. We'll zoom out a little bit. This is the next camera in question. This is my overhead camera. And so what this is, let's get to the right one here. There we go. This is the Huddlecam HD. It can go up to 4K 30 frames a second. There's I got to tell you how you do that. But it can go up to 4K 30 frames a second. It's what's called an ePTZ camera. electronic PTZ. It can do an 8x zoom. It's got color correction. It's got a USB 3.0 plug to it. It's also got an HDMI port. And you can do all your settings on the camera. And the one thing I like about Huddlecam is the fact that it's also my PTZ camera, technically. My PTZ camera is from Ptz Optics. This camera is from Huddlecam. They're both basically the same company. Huddlecam is focused more towards USB style cameras, office style cameras, whereas the Ptz Optics is kind of like in the style for broadcast professional. Like, I don't know, it's such a weird blurred line nowadays. It's hard to really explain how that works. But the whole point is, and I can show you that camera. I think I can show you that camera by doing this. So if you look, you have this light right here, but there's the Ptz Optics camera right there. So that's a full PTZ. So the swivel head and everything, just like with the Obs Bot, that's a full swivel head, and so you can move it and turn it up and down. This one is static. It's just a device that's sitting on a stand, which you can put it onto a tripod. It's got the same monitor style mount that the Logitech and the Obs Bot and the Facecam have. That does detach. And but you can do a lot more with it. And the biggest advantage of this one is it's got an HDMI plug to it. So you can plug it into USB and you'll get a whole bunch of cool features to it. But then you can plug it into just the HDMI port. And then with this remote, you can make controls from there. So we're going to start by showing you the camera here. There it is right there. So this is my overhead shot. This is what you normally see when I talk through everything. I am using the HDMI port on this, and I'm stringing it through to the computer using some other technology from there. I could easily hook it into a computer and then pass it through here through the USB 2.0 as well. But I like the HDMI. The biggest advantage about that is that with this plugged into the HDMI port, I can send this at 4K rather than 1080p. So I get a better sensor, and then when I zoom in, it looks a little bit better. So let's go ahead. We're going to zoom it in a little bit so I can really get in. You'll see some grain here if I get too close, but it's zoomed in so I can get a good shot of whatever product I have. And it's 8x zoom. And I'm going to show you a little bit of the mess of the studio. That is the full zoom out. So hi from up here. and then when I'm ready, I have it preset, so I just do that, and boom, there it is, right where it needs to be. This is the remote. Also, if you have the Ptz Optics camera, or if you have another Huddlecam like this remote will work on those other devices. There's 4 buttons up on top here, and you program them to say which camera you're going to use. So if I press button 1, that's going to go to my Ptz Optics, the camera behind me. And if I press button 2, that's what's going to go to this overhead camera. So I can program a lot of things on these devices. If I plug this into USB, I have the ability to actually run a joystick and use it that way, just like with the Ptz Optics. And the best part, it's got a great sensor in it, but I think they use the Panasonic sensors, not the Sony sensors on their cameras, and it's just amazing. Plus, if I want to change any of the settings, all I have to do is hit the menu button, and then I can change the exposure, the color, the image, noise reduction, and settings. We'll just go into the setting one. We can change language, EPTZ. We can turn that on or off. We can do our zoom limit. Of course, I have it at 8x. Our DV mode. We have the HDMI format at 4K, 30 frames a second. I'm not going to change that at all because that'll mess up the camera and restart it. We can set it to H.264, and we can turn on and off the microphones on this device. It does have microphones, and go from there. I normally turn them off because I go through a regular microphone for a better audio experience. And that goes with all my webcams. I usually don't use the webcam audio for that. But anyway, color, just a wide range of options. Once again, I can change my color temperature to 4500, the number that I really like. I can change some of the red-green or blue-green tuning to make it really match in and match my other cameras. And I got a saturation. Right now it's at 70%. We can bump that up a little bit. So go up to 80. It can go down to 60% on this thing. And then 200. So actually, I'm going to keep it at 90. Leave that at that. So as you can see, works really well. Sets on top of a TV. It's also a great camera if you're putting a distance in between you and the camera itself. Like for instance, this camera I use, the Sony AX700. That's about 3 feet away from me. So if I can actually zoom out and see the whole thing, my whole studio if I needed to, or zoom in and get a nice tight shot and keep everything looking good. That's through the optical zoom. And I like cameras with optical zooms, but digital zooms have been really growing on me. So like this one, the Obs Bot, and yeah, those are all digital zooms. My Ptz Optics has an optical zoom in it, and even some of them will have an optical and then a digital after that. So you can find those really cool options right there. But anyway, this camera is completely controllable, and as you can see, it's sitting up there. Now, relative to where I am, it is about, I'd say about 2.5 feet from the table to the top here. Yeah. And then the USB is plugged in, just so you know, because that's what's powering the camera. I need to have some sort of power when you're running HDMI. Otherwise, I could unplug it and plug it into a computer and use it from there. So that is the Huddlecam HD. Great little device. You can use it in a lot of different situations. I like it as the overhead camera. But if I was doing a lot of travel, which I will be doing, next week I'll be at Infocom in Florida, and I might take my small cameras with me to really, if I need to set up a one-on-one interview, I can set that up using those cameras. So anyway, that's the Huddlecam HD. Now we'll move back to this one. This one's technically not a webcam, but with some of the features that they've put into this thing, it could easily turn into a webcam and be used as a webcam through a protocol called Ndi. And that is this one right here. It's called the Mevo Start. It's 1080p lens, 30 frames a second, Sony sensor once again. It can stream, it can record, and it can send video through Ndi, as I just told you. It has Bluetooth, it has Wi-Fi, and it has a USB in the back, which can be plugged into a dongle, which you can then use for your... do I have this set up? I don't think I have this set up. You can then use it for your... dongle to plug in an Ethernet jack. That's where I was going to go with that. Sorry about that. Got a little distracted. And thanks to the Amazon customer for starting following. I appreciate that very much. And UTR saying, hi, I wanted to ask about the virtualization and ESXi. Looks like today's topic is webcams. Yeah, sorry about that. We will definitely talk about that soon. So anyway, Sony sensor stream, you can stream, you can record. That's the best part about this device. Now, it just got purchased by Logitech, so it's now a full Logitech product. But when I got it, it was by Mevo Start, and it's had a very interesting story to it. Let's get to the camera. There's the camera right there. It had a very interesting story to it. It started out as an independent company. And then Vimeo bought it because they bought Livestream, and then they had the Mevo Plus, which is an older camera, and Vimeo bought it, and then the CEO wanted to buy the camera back, but not the Livestream software. So he bought the camera back. They created the Start, and I did an interview with them back at CES 20 20, I believe it was, and then that year I got the camera, and then started to play with that, and then just this last year, Logitech decided to buy the camera, and so I think it's a great purchase, great idea. So that is the camera in itself, and let's see, I don't have, I gotta set that up. Nope, it's right there. So it would be right here. So let's go ahead and hit this button. There we go. And for some reason it got knocked out of spot. Hold on a second. Let me make that adjustment. Here we go. As I was mad dashing to the to getting all this set up, there we go. So now we've got it set up the way I want it to be set up. So this is the camera. It's got a USB cable coming out of it, but that's only for power right now. Everything is going through what's called NDI, which is a protocol from NewTek, absolutely free protocol that you can get, and it comes with the camera. You set it up via your phone. So I'll go into my phone, come back over here. There we go. Let me get my phone here, and we'll go to the Mevo. And they have app for the Mevo and for the for a multicam option, so you can actually get more than one Mevo and set it up for a multicam. And let's see, it's saying it's attempting to connect. Let's get back out there. No, this will only take a second. Hold on. Close. There we go. Come back in. There we go. So here's the Mevo. Do it that way. There we go. And we'll zoom in on that so you can see it. And basically, it's a... Am I on the right network? I might not be on the right Wi-Fi here. Hold on a second. Yeah, I'm on the wrong Wi-Fi. Come on. There we go. Now we'll come back to this camera. Now we'll see it. There it is. There we go. So this is the interface for the single camera. There is also an app for the multicam if you've got multiple Mevos. And we'll just hit the connect button. It says there's a firmware update. We'll do that later. And then there's the camera right here. I have it now, right now it's placed in a frame, so when you see it, this is what you see. Nicely framed up, and of course it zooms in, so it zooms in to a 720p. So this would be 720. This would be native 720p right here. But I can go full screen, and you can see all the glory of the studio, which is kind of a mess, but that's okay. And let's say attempting to reconnect. What's going on? Having some connection issues, I think. Maybe this went back to the other Wi-Fi. Sometimes does that. There we go. Start that over. I think it's about this firmware update. Well, this normally connects. Don't you love it when you're doing a live stream or something like that and you're trying to show off a product and it stops working? Thank you, Amazon customer, for following. Maybe that was the same one. I don't know. Not responding. Well, it's responding because I'm seeing it here. Let's just do the update. Let's see what happens there. You guys can stick with me. Let's do this. I'm going to set this to the side. I didn't set up a shot for the yeah, the Brio. I didn't do the let's do that again. Let's get that going. Hold on a second. I'm having some interesting connection problems with that Mevo. I'm not sure why. It doesn't normally do it that way. Let's get connected. Do it later. Let's do this. Give me 1 second here. All right, it's trying to connect again. Unable to connect. I wonder what's going on here. All right, well, that's the Mevo. The best part about the Mevo is through the app, what you can do is you can pinch the screen and set up scenes. You can do all the configuration. You also configure it to NDI. You can set it up to do a live stream, so you can stream it to many different socials if you wanted to. And then, of course, you could turn around and set this up to record. So, and I've used this in many different situations where I've taken it out. Yeah, it's not responding for some reason. It was just working. What's up with this? But anyway, you know, hey, sometimes that happens. So yeah, you can, I set that I take this out and record bands with it, because the other thing that it has is a microphone jack to it. So I could plug in a more responsive microphone and put it at a distance. Now it's working. There we go. Now we've got connection. All right, perfect. So here we are. We've got the app again. If I go full screen, and I don't think this is connected up yet. No, let me just do that really quick. Yeah, it's not connecting because I had to restart it. That's basically on the software. So anyway, so I had the scene set. If I just hit this, now the whole scene can be seen. The whole scene can be seen by the camera, and then that would go at a full 1080p. I go into the settings right here. I'm gonna go down here. There's the settings, and we can set it up for NDI mode. We can set it up for other. Let's turn off the NDI mode. Let's turn it back on. Let's make sure that, see if that worked. And doesn't look like it did. Anyway, okay. So with NDI mode, we can only do it through NDI mode. We can't record at the same time, but if we want like stream to social or something like that, we could definitely record it at the exact same time. And I've done that a lot, is streaming and recording at the exact same time. And it works really well. And the best part is, like I said, I can set up scenes. So I can have a scene like this, which is me. Oh, it started working. There we go. So there's my scene. But if I want to go full screen, Boom. Now you can see everything. Let's say I want to focus on my mixer. I can press that button. And then froze up again. That's interesting. Anyway, the whole point is it will then spotlight onto the mixer there and then come back. So I'm wondering if I have to check my network. That might be a personal network problem. There we go. And yeah, so now we go to the Mevo. There's my mixing console and my computer that's running the Elgato face cam, and I can easily go like this and then bring it back to me if I wanted to. I can zoom in and zoom out a little bit, so I got a little bit more room, and then I can really pinch this in to make this so you see my studio a little better. There we go. Just a little bit more. There we go. So now it's set up similar to what this camera is set up as, just a little bit of angle difference. And you notice the color, so I can actually make adjustments with the color through the app here. Oops. I can say, okay, we're in stage mode, we're in backlit mode, we have outdoors, or we can change our own settings. So we'll go to custom, and then we can say camera mode is shutter, exposure. Let's do shutter first. Shutter to, I always like to do 120, and then change the exposure from there. There we go. Look at that. It might be too much. Let's go to 1.6. There we are. White balance is auto. But I like to go, like I said, 4500. There's my 4500 right there. Boom. That might be a little bit yellower than I want it to be, but I can change the saturation. Bring that down a little bit. And then metering, I can go wider crop. Anti-flicker at 60 Hertz, or we can set it to auto. Exposure metering, we can set up, but I'm not going to set that up. But as you can see, we can make a lot of changes to make it look pretty decent from a shot like this to match up cameras if we needed to. So that is the Mevo. The Mevo Start. It is app controlled, and you can really set up scenes and have a lot of fun with it. 1080p. So if you're looking for something like 4K, that's, you know, you're going to have to look at some other devices, but it works really well for this. And the best part is you don't need to bring a computer with you if you don't want to. You can stream straight from the device, and you could also record straight into the device. And with the 6-hour battery, you don't have to worry about charging it up a lot. So, and I use this in many different situations. So Sharif says hello. I'm going to say hello back to you. And then we're going to get to the featured here. And that's the Brio. And I don't have, I thought I had, I guess I didn't set up a Brio page for that. That's too bad. Let's get back to here. I just have to wing it a little bit. Just a little bit. All right. Close that out. Close this up. Let's come back here. Let's bring this over here. We'll take this out of the way. Take these out of the way. There we are. Grab a drink. Hope you guys are having a great Saturday. Let me know what you're doing on this Saturday. Besides watching me flail. Huh. All right. Let me get here. All right, perfect. All right, here we go. Okay, let's go ahead and unbox this. This is the Logitech Brio. This came out about 2015, 2016, but since then it's been really updated and really lots of great features put on here. This is a 4K USB camera. I use this. I use this a lot for what I call an at-home kit, which is a kit that I set up to send to somebody's house. So all I have to do is pull it out of the case, plug it in, and then I can do an interview with them. They put it back in the case, send it back to me. It's actually pretty cool. So the Brio right here, this runs a 4K sensor inside, so you can go 4K or 1080p or 720p. One thing I like about going 4K is that I can put a little bit of more room around the shot, and then crop it for interviews, so I can get the right angle without them having to go just a little bit this way. I can take care of that in the end at post processing. So the other thing is it's got a diagonal field of view up to 90 degrees. There's an autofocus on this, so this won't do depth or anything like that. It's got auto light correction, noise cancellation through a 2 omnidirectional microphone system. It can connect up via USB-A or via USB-C, and that's about a 7-foot cable that you can set up for there. It's got the webcam mount, and of course you'll be able to hook it up to a tripod as well. So let's go ahead. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit more on this, and then we'll go to our overhead cam. We'll set it down, and we'll open it up. There it is. There's our Brio. Let's go ahead and pull this out. Simple, easy peasy right there. We can zoom in on this a little bit more. Let's do that. Too much. There we go. So there's the webcam. We'll just lift this up. Underneath here, we have a very solid, let's pull this all out. Very solid USB cable right here. No, right here. There's the USB cable right there. So this is USB-C to A, but you can definitely get a C to C cable if you want to from there. Also is we've got instructions on how to set it up. We've got all the information from Logitech and all the technical information. So we'll just set that back in the box so we know what it is. We got a little carrying case to put our Brio into. I think this is a carrying case. Yeah, this is a carrying case. Nice with a pull tie on it. So that's pretty sweet. And then the same type of clip that you can hang it on top of a monitor. It's a little bit different than the other ones, and a little bit plastic, but we'll see how that sets up first. So let's go ahead and put this in. Can't put it like that because I got to put that in. And we'll put this on top and go like that and close this up. And then, as always, we will say, "Fly, be free." Close enough. All right, let's take a look at this Brio here, and we'll zoom in on this. And a little down. So this is the Brio right here. We've got a little bit of plastic film to take off the front piece. And then, let's see, we got on the bottom here. Let's see, how does that... I think that's right there. Yeah, it's right there. Okay, we were doing the right thing. There we go. There we go. There it goes. There it is. And there we are. We got the camera. This is what you can set onto the monitor here. There we go. So this has that similar one to the OBS bot where you put the monitor right here, and then this backstop will help keep it lined up on the monitor as you want. But it looks like we have a secondary mount for some reason. I'm not exactly sure why, but there it is. And then we should be able to pull this off. How does this come off? Of course, the instructions are in the box. There's a way to pull this off so we can put on tripod mount. I thought it would just twist off. I guess it doesn't. Maybe it doesn't have a tripod mount. Maybe I'm confused. Hold on a second. No, it does screw off. It does come off. Maybe this pops off. Not sure how that happens. Let me look really quick, because I threw all the documentation over there. There we go. So, it says that we just pop it. It should pop right off. There we go. A little bit of elbow grease right there. And there it is. And then we can put a screw, we can put it right into the screw mount of a tripod. And then if we want to put this back, it's keyed. See that key there? So I want to put it back in. Should be able to pop it back in. There we go. And go from there. I'm not exactly sure how this is going to set up. It might set up as a secondary. So like that, to help for a smaller monitor. Or maybe it's an extension of some sort. I don't know. That's interesting. But anyway, so we can then take this off, and we'll leave this on the mount right here, and then try and set this up on a tripod. So let's take a look. Excuse me. Let's take a look at how the camera looks. On the front here, we have, of course, the lens. We have, looks like, I don't know if this is a lighter. We got 3 different holes. Right here, right here, and right here. So one of them is a sensor for auto light, and then the other one is this must be a status light right here. And then we should have some okay, we got a microphone right there and a microphone right there. Nothing on the sides, but on the back we just have a single USB-C connection, which we can plug in to our computer. And that's what we're going to do now. Excuse me, we're going to go ahead and plug this in, and hopefully we're not going to mess up the whole system, because I'm going to plug it into my system. I don't normally do that because you never know, it could completely reset and reboot a computer when you do that. But you know, I'll risk it for you. How's that? Let me get this out of the way. And we'll come back. There we go. Joy's going, any thoughts on the to share on Logitech HD Pro Webcam C920 Full HD 1080p? Funny you should ask, because at the beginning of this stream, that is what we talked about. That's this camera right, not here. Where did it go? It's this camera right there. And actually, this camera right here. So yes, I have many thoughts. Just when we're done, wait for the play to start to play again, and then you'll be able to see what I'm saying about that camera. So let me go ahead and set this up. This should be recognized onto the computer, hopefully. So there we go. I'll see it as a Logitech Brio, and we'll hit the add button. And look at that right there. Sorry, hold on a second. Okay, there's no audio on here, so you shouldn't hear an echo. Okay, there's no audio. Okay, yeah, you're not hearing an echo. But this is the Logitech Brio. I'm holding it in my hands, so it is a little bit wobbly. I did get a tripod here, so I'm going to take the face cam tripod off and set this on. Set that right there. Now we know that we can pop this off. You don't need to see that. It is not easy to take off, though. There we go. Now we'll put it on the thread. All right, it's now on the tripod here. And we'll set it up in front of us. And then we'll go like this. Logitech Brio. There we are. Look at that. Now, with the Logitech Brio, just like the others, there's software that you can adjust on there. But this is it in a quick nutshell. So a couple things that I'm noticing right offhand is you see those line flickering from here. That is one thing. But I know that there's Brio software. Let me just double check. All right. But I can make adjustments. I can also make adjustments through this thing, because this is what I would do. Is if I was doing a one-on-one interview, I would just record it like this, and then I'd basically crop out this much. So I'll do it with this software, so you kind of get an idea of what I'm talking about. So what I would end up doing is I would do all the corrections from here. And then I would position this like this and go like that, and then go down to the color and change a little bit there and a little bit there and a little bit there and there and like that. And without doing too much more, this is a very basic shot in 3, 2, 1. Look at that. So this is what you would probably see if I was doing any type of recording or anything like that. I check to see. Yeah, there's no double audio here. So anyway, so you would see it like this, but of course, when I got it, you would see that larger field of view. This is just basically an anti-flicker option that I can get software to fix that, so it's not doing that flicker. But a lot of times I probably won't have a TV behind me for any types of interviews. So as you can see, this works really well. Once again, this is also a non-autofocus, so I'll do this though with the light. So if I did this, you're going to see a little bit of focus. So this is a Elytra Pro, and it'll come back to me. So I suppose if I brought this in a little bit more, and you're seeing me look at the screen there. Sorry about that. So if you're and I bring this down, maybe zoom this out a little bit so I'm not hogging up the frame. I should be able to get this background to blur a little bit. So, but then it kind of ruins my effect on my screen. There we go. But I'll be able to show you products and go from there. So this is the Logitech Brio. It's small, it's lightweight, it's USB 3.0, and it's a pretty good powerhouse of a device if you need to see what's going on and just kind of record people as they go. The price is about $170 as right now. So it's available, and it works really well. As you can see, status light right here, and then these are for lighting, the lighting auto stuff, and you can definitely turn that off through software. So, but anyway, that's the Brio. Really simple, really quick, and you can put it on top of a monitor, or you can put it on a tripod. All right. Have this shot, but I have to set up the fourth shot because I didn't have the Brio at that point. So let me do that really quick. I'm gonna set this back. No. And then the face cam. It's not on the tripod anymore. So let's see if I can string that over. Do I have enough cable? I do not. Could set it on top. Great. Nope, that's going to fall over, isn't it? Well, I'll just set it there. Oh, the things I do. Let's take that Brio, and we'll go boop, like that, and we'll put it in the corner. You're going to see what I'm talking about in a second here. So. All right, and then this is this. There we are. And maybe I'll handheld hold this one to give you that. So, all right. All right. So here we go. We got 4 cameras. We got the face cam from Elgato. We got the OBS Bot from OBS Bot, the OBS Bot Tiny. We've got the Mevo Start, and we've got the Logitech Brio from Logitech. So 4 different ways to do any type of streaming, to do any type of recording, to do any type of conference calls or anything like that. So the real question now is, which one are you going to get? These are all under well, for the most part, the Elgato face cam is about $199. Logitech Brio is $169. OBS Bot Tiny, about $199. The most expensive being the Mevo at $399, but the Mevo does a lot more, including streaming to your favorite social networks and recording, as well as become a webcam, and with a 6-hour battery in it. So a lot of them have different functionality for what you need, but so the real question is, which one do you want to get? I can get them all. I already did. I got them all. So, but anyway, these are all great cameras for what you need. And the best part is you get some software involved. You could get 2 of these cameras, even if it's the US this one, the C920, and then the Logitech Brio, and then you can set them up in different situations. And of course, we didn't show you the Mevo, which is the overhead. Whoops. The Mevo should be the overhead camera. Why? Or I'm sorry, not the Mevo. The Huddlecam, that's the 4th one. Ugh. Of course, we have the Huddlecam, which is the overhead camera that was not in that shot right there. And that one is also, that one is $299 for the Huddlecam HD. So, but the features that comes with is the HDMI at 4K, and then, of course, USB 3.0 for connection there. So lots of different cameras, lots of different options. So yeah, the question now is, which one would you want to get? Joy goes, the webcam you showed, the C920 or C920X? Good question. We'll go back for a second on that for Joy, because, you know, hey, you're here. Why not? So we've got this is the Logitech C920. And I did some color correction on it. So let me just reset the color on this, so you can see how it looks originally. There we go. So this is the C920. This is the version. I've had this version for over 10 years, I think it is. So they have definitely done some small improvements on it, but it's basically the same camera that you can use from there. And then, of course, the Brio, which, you know, it's about 3 times the price, but it's got a lot of great features and a great way to get to the next level of doing any type of streaming. And then, of course, if you get both, you can have a 2-camera setup going from camera 1, camera 2, camera 1, camera 2. So anyway, hopefully that helps there, Joy. So definitely let me know if you have any other questions as we continue from there. And we're continuing from there saying, hey, if you do have any questions, go over to amazon.com/shop/Geekazine. Sorry about that. Go over to amazon.com/shop/Geekazine to find out all the cool stuff. We'll have all these cameras, and definitely let me know which webcams you use, whether it be from your laptop, whether it be from your desktop, or if you got one of these cameras and how you like it. And we'll go from there. We'll definitely have a conversation. You can find me at Geekazine, Think Magazine, Put in a Geek. That is me. And you can be part of it. All the socials, Geekazine. I make it fairly easy for you. Fairly easy. So, all right, that does it for me for this live stream. Thank you guys very much for watching. Thanks to everybody that commented. I appreciate that much. If you haven't hit that follow button, go ahead and do so. You still have a minute left to talk in the William Chatner there. So go ahead and chat away. And yeah, we'll definitely see you next time. A little programming note: I'm going to be talking at a conference next week, and then I'm going to be getting on a cruise ship for a couple days. And so I'll probably, this is basically having a week off. So I'll be back in a couple weeks with some more live streams. I'll definitely be doing some stuff from the road, from Infocom. So check out those videos. And we're going to check out some more products and go from there. So thanks a lot for watching. You guys geek out. Take care. You've been watching Geek Tech Talk Live. I'm Jeffrey Powers. To answer that question, Joy, there's many different reasons why one can be a little bit higher priced than the other one. And it might not be because of quality. It just might be that they have some overstock that they want to get rid of. So if you've got if that's the better deal, yeah, and the C920 is 100. I don't know where you see that one for 162. $69.99 sounds more like the C920 price. So I would say that, yeah. Are you sure you're looking at a C920 at 160? Because the Brio is 160, around the $162 mark. In fact, let's just double check that really quick. Yeah, the Brio is 168, and I got the Logitech C920X here for $59.99, normally $69.99. So it's 14% off right now. Okay, you got to click the link here. Let's go ahead and click that. Yeah, that's the one I have, $59.99. So the other one that you're seeing for 162. See if I can see it really quick. Oh, you got a link there. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. That's 7. Okay, so that's a different, that's just basically a different vendor for that. And then you had a third one here. Is that the same one? Oh, yeah. Excuse me. Okay. HD Pro. Yeah, it says it's 162, but then it's got like a $90 55% off. Okay. It might just be, I don't know. It might be coming from different vendors. So that could be, and then it's really what the MSRP is on that device at that time. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. They're exactly the same camera. Let's double check here. I can tell you the C920X is newer than the C920. So hopefully that helps, but they're pretty much the same camera. I would look at the 920X over the 920 because it would be the newer model. And that might be because, you know, like I said, when I bought the C920, it was pretty expensive. It was more than $162. So they could have that could have been purchased back in, let's say, 2017 when it was $162. And now the price of it would be around that. So you get a nice deep discount. So I wouldn't worry about that part. They're both pretty much the same camera. Yeah. Yeah, not a problem. Well, like I said, the X, I think the X is is an updated version of that. So I don't know if this got a slightly different processor or a better processor or anything like that inside there, but that the X920X is where I would go first. But feel free to get both of them and do a comparison yourself, and go from there and let me know if you do. So. All right. Yeah, no problem. No problem. Thanks a lot for, I'm guessing you're following, but if not, you can hit that button and then follow along on other products that we do. So, all right. I'm glad I could help. And I'll always come back on if you have any other questions during the live stream. Because sometimes that's what the live stream is about. Is just about showing you different things. Like, for instance, I'm showing you, I don't even have links to the 3D printer on my page here. But this is what I'm 3D printing right now. It's always fun to watch how that goes. And I do have a channel set up so you can watch the 3D prints. Just check out Geekazine I think it's on YouTube, and be able to do that. So, all right, thanks a lot. You guys geek out. Take care, and thanks, Joy. And I'm glad I could clarify that for you.